Thank God. No, I'm just playing. I said, what's happening, baby? I done lost my steam playing with these people. You hear me? I done lost my steam. I just, oh God, I just can't anymore with these people. You hear me? Just let me, there we go. I'm tired of looking at myself the wrong way. I'm so tired of that. It's confusing when I look at myself looking the wrong way. I'm just like, man, I'm tired. You hear me? What's up, Case K? Miss Karen Renfro, what's up, baby? Kaz, what's up, Queen? Lickety Split, rapper, hey, buddy. Oh, Carrie, Cowherd, hey, baby. Tropicana, I just, oh God, it's been a long day. Victoria, and we're gonna handle this. We're gonna handle this like we're qualified. That's what I'm gonna start off by saying. Let me thank you, Richard, for the great comment. Um, nowhere, man. Absolutely. Yeah, Raylan, he is. Um, hello, Teresa. I appreciate everyone for being here. It just an overwhelming task today. Trying to let me move this layout real quick. Let's push me over here. How about that? Of course, it didn't keep me over there. Hold on. I refuse to get irritated tonight. So, I don't even know what all these new buttons are. It just keeps pushing me back. Jesus. Oi. As TM would say, oy vey. Oy vey. There we go. Interesting point. Today is TM's birthday. So, hey, six up. What's up, baby? Miss Ellie, how you doing? So we're gonna jump into it. I want to start by saying, the title, why he isn't qualified. You can see the graphic here. I'm not even. I am not so naive, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that any of us are qualified to be handling a majority of what we do on the internet, right? However, I think the thing that separates a lot of us is what gets us in the arena of being qualified is that we can lead with our heart, right? And I think that is that's a huge qualifier. Leading with our heart, right? I think that if you see someone leading with their heart and they fall short, it's more palatable, right? It's more palatable. And right now, it's just like the world. When you put the world into perspective, right? Like for instance, with TM, right? Like it's sad because it's like every day that I don't hear from TM, I'm conflicted on whether or not it's a good day or a bad day, right? But in my mind, it's like, well, no news is good news, right? And it's just so many things in the world happening right now that are so much larger than YouTube and all of the the things that go on here. So that being said, what qualifies us to be here, right? Everyone has a lane. For instance, Six Up, TPE, they hold the stock and they have such a commitment in showing Ziggy and Fred for who they are, who they truly are, not the whimsical made up entities they want us to believe they are, right? Totally not qualified. so many people not qualified, right? If I had to pick someone that I could reach out and tap on the shoulder and say they're qualified to for their performance solely in Summer Wells would have to be, and I don't want anyone to feel like I'm leaving them out of the conversation but it'd be killer looks, right? The guy doesn't, has he fallen short? Probably somewhere down the line, right? Somewhere down the line. But this dude here, I got so many interactions today about what he's doing. And it's the same old song and dance. It's the same old cart and horse. I mean, it just never stops, right? And so when you try to I spent a lot of time just thinking like what could this dude, what could be on his mind? And I think a lot of it, the internet levels the playing field for social dynamic, right? The playing field is leveled in a way where someone whose sense of self may not have always been what it currently is now on the internet, right? It's an inflated sense of self. I think that that's dangerous in a sense because everyone, their ego changes when they come to the internet, right? No one is exempt. It alters in some way the inflated sense of self, right? Now, I, only speaking for me, I feel like I lead with my heart when it comes to these things. I'm not an advocate. I am not I'm an activist, right? I'm an activist. And hold on one second, let me get over here. I'm an activist, right? I don't wish to be an advocate. There's plenty of people in the world who advocate. In my opinion, I feel like there's not enough activists, true activists that can do activist work, that have a voice, that are this, that are that, that are the other. And so today, I'm going to reach in the bag of tricks and going to show you why, in my opinion, some people aren't even qualified to be activists. That's really a job that anyone can pick up, right? An activist is also, it's a neighbor to, I don't know, the weirdo that's against crude oil sales and sits in front of tanker trucks on the road and refuses to be moved. That's an activist, right? Activist could also be a rebel Ukrainian force that has no true uniform and runs throughout the buildings handling what they feel like is, you see what you sure I'm going with this, right? There is, activist is different. Advocate is someone that comes here, and and probably isn't a lot of actual advocates here, because if there's actual advocates here, where they pull up at their job is probably like a police department or a DA or something like that, right? Somebody that's in that realm. Hold on one second. I got to make a couple of changes here. So we're going to do that. Ellie is Ellie, right? Okay. So we're going to get into it. Let's just jump right in head first. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to this one. I'm just going to show you just how weird this dude is. Okay. So right here, So 6 days ago, and I pointed this out 6 days ago, right? You have someone, right here who actually has a real name, Marjorie. Marjorie said, yes, she has been found. They, with an A, just said she was found. It's a video that says she was just found in a grave on that property. Why am I refocusing on this, Benny? Well, let me tell you why. Because all of a sudden today, Don thinks it'd be a great idea to say that someone named Grasshopper Jump-A-Lot says, I think they found her because they notified Don and Candace. They would not have notified just for a tip. How does this person even know this? How does this person know what they're going to notify anyone about? This person has no idea. Now, with that being said, I've heard a lot of different things. I've seen, and let me tell you what, I've only been looking on the line for about the last half hour. I don't put into this what I used to. I don't research anymore. If the YouTube gods don't bless me with what I need to see when I'm flipping through it, I don't cover it. You hear me? So why is someone named Grasshopper Jump-A-Lot, why is this person more credible than someone named Margie? You have to ask yourself that. But when you ask yourself that, you're going to realize that there is no rhyme or reason, there's no explanation, and you just cannot make sense of it. Okay? Now, I have a whole playlist that I found today about Don B. And there's really just one video that I think, well, there's two. I'm debating on showing the other one, but the one definitely is very intriguing because I've said this so many times, and Fizzle, bless her heart, she used to tell me what was important about the position I played was that being tied up with the wells and only being able to see the 2 inches in front of my face because I'm dealing with all that. I missed a whole almost year's worth of information that was passed back and forth on the line. So that when I came back away from them, but back into the mainstream with y'all, there were things that were 9, 10, 11, 12 months old that I was not aware of. And so in her opinion, that made me a useful instrument, whether or not you hold the same opinion as your opinion, right? Now, I'm going to show you tonight, at the risk of everything you see here, all of this, I'm going to put myself at risk probably. But at this point, I'm leading with my heart. I'm leading with my heart, and guess what? I don't even care. Strip it all away, take it all from me. If that's what the YouTube gods decide to do, so be it. Now, I've went through what you're going to hear for about 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes in total length. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole, you're going to hear my mouth. You're going to hear my mouth while I go through it. But I'm going to tell you and show you right now why this gentleman in particular is not qualified. And that I think the issue that we're really dealing with here is that all of these people, they don't care. I actually now believe that there are people that support people that create videos online, because I hate the word content. I'm trying to divorce myself from saying content. I do truly believe now there are people here that don't care whether or not Summer Wells is found, because they refuse to even give a slightly sharpened opinion about what someone does. Guess what? A friend to me is someone that calls me out when I'm wrong and say, hey, bro, you just foobarred that one all the way, right? Call me out when I'm wrong. I don't need yes men and yes women. I need people that's going to hold me accountable to the line, the law of the line. Okay. That's what I deserve. I deserve people around me that's not going to do this here. Very few people. Misdemeanor. Big unsubscribe. I know creators who stopped creating Summer Wells videos after they went to Tennessee and met people and seen the damage it could cause. Watch and edit videos before uploading. Watch before uploading. This dude, it's not as if he's going to make a clerical error or speak outside the parameter or say something he doesn't mean when he's on a live stream. These are pre-recorded 6 to 10 minute videos. Right? Now, all of that being said, before we get into it, this dude, more disturbing stuff found at this dude isn't going to be satisfied if little Summer Wells is found walking around looking like her age progression photo. He has to have it a certain way. And I don't want to say it because I think we all are. It's very clear how he wants it, right? Now, I have seen the most. Let me go back here. Matter of fact, Summer Wells illegally cremated. Who can even think of these things? Who can think of these things? He's also done videos about forensic anthropology in pig farms. Like the worst sort of content. And I think that it's quite fitting that it's time we refresh the public's. We need to hit the refresh button. You know, the little arrow that's in a circle. It's time to refresh so that people understand where it comes from, the motive to say these things right here. To say these things, right? I also pointed out that I thought it was very cute how he has a video called Bet YouTubers Will Be All Over Van Hill Road, Beach Creek. Then you come over here to his community post and he's in he is the YouTuber. On top of that, I see the depth in the man when he says, I wonder how many of these, whether it be in trail cams, phones, or whatever, make a difference in helping to prosecute cases. Well, let me tell you what, Don, let me answer the question for you. Every single one that has criminal activity on it and is also in the hands of the police, 100% of those. You just saying stuff to say stuff, homie. Right? Now, oh, this tricky dude deleted it. Since we've been here talking, he's deleted a post. He said, no video tonight because he's assisting someone with a CPS case. You guys saw it. He just deleted it. All right, TM. He just deleted the community post. It said, no video tonight as he's assisting. Hey, crime lines of lies. He's assisting someone with a CPS case. Tina, he's deleted it. Why? Looking ass. Well, let's get into it. No time like the present, right? So I have went through and edited the things. I've edited the edge off of this knife because I sat and I thought, like, you know, The aim is still the same. It's just the way that I want it to be accepted. The verbiage I've changed since then. So there are some terminologies that you will hear, well, actually, that you won't hear. Okay. You won't hear certain things, but you'll be able to tell what's in there. Okay. This is why Don B isn't qualified. And then we're going to move on to another thing that I found so very interesting, and I don't even know how I missed it. Okay. So this is why Don B is not qualified. Don B, you already know where we're going with this. And I'd really like, why don't you put up a post telling us all why you took down the post talking about wanting us to believe that you could assist someone in a CPS case in any form or fashion. That you would have us to believe we are so naive to think you could be helpful in anyone else's real life, their private life. He's removed it. Here we go. Trigger warning. Let me put a banner up. Well, now put a trigger warning in somebody put a trigger warning up there for me because I want the 1-800 TBI fine to continue to tick. So please, someone put that in there for me, would you? Thank you, TM. Thank you so much. This is Ziggy and Fred level. Ziggy and Fred level stuff. This is even lower than Fred. Thank you, Kaz. Love you, baby. This is lower than Fred and Ziggy. This here is 500 leagues under the sea low. This is sweetie pie low of the lowest low. Here we go.
And then about 10 minutes later, she makes a statement. She goes, "Oh, can you pull yourself down? Can you quit?"
Don, can you pull your stuff down? Quit.
And that bothered me.
Right.
For her daughter just to be scratching my back.
So we're going to Tarantino this thing just a little bit, just because I'm going to break it down. And I really want you all that support Don to feel as miserable as I felt him telling me this. Because it wasn't just the scenario that some of you are going to hear this and be like, whoa, what the heck is this? This man concealed a sexual assault of his stepson with a woman, because boys can be sexually assaulted. There's this stigma in the United States that if it hurts, then it constitutes sexual assault. But for a little boy, the law it's malleable. It's made of clay if it's a little boy and a hot neighbor, right, Don? So the context is that a situation happened between his stepson and the neighbor lady. And his son came back to tell him about it. And he did the old high five, stepson. Yeah, I would do the same thing if I was your age, which is too damn young. Okay. So they all get together post-offense and they have a movie night. What he's describing right now is, for some reason, the little girl, the daughter of the mother, Nikki Blicky, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me, baby. This fool has a movie night with the neighbor and the daughter because Don is aware of what the neighbor did to his stepson. He allows, and again, some kind of way, there's no boundary. The little girl finds it acceptable to be scratching on Don's back with his shirt up, or her hand up his shirt. And he allows it to go on because he knows it's putting pressure on the lady who assaulted his stepson, but he's continuing to allow it to happen because he wants her to know, I can punish you by allowing your daughter to scratch on my bare back. It's his words, not mine.
And for her to act like that was just a perverted gesture that I was letting her do on me.
Right, because what she had done to you.
It is a perverted gesture because as soon as the neighbor girl, I don't care if you've been knowing her since she was 1 day old, as soon as she's scratching on your back, you're like, whoa, what the hell are you doing, little girl? I don't care if it's an itch, you can't scratch. You got a wife in the room, you got a stepson in the room. There's a door. I use the door jam. If it's a scratch, I just can't reach. I don't go find the neighbor girl who's a minor and have her scratch my back. That's not what I'm going to do here. Justin, thank you so much for becoming a member, King. You know, it means the world to me.
Your stepson is
I
known.
was thinking the whole time about your tongue.
Bite your tongue. Don't tell the little girl to stop scratching your back. Why would you bite your tongue? You should be the same soldier against what the neighbor lady did to your son. Clearly there's some sexual boundaries that are askew in that home because the mother thinks it's okay to sexually assault your stepson, and the daughter finds it okay that there's no boundary that she can scratch on your back. And to top it all off, this fool just needed to tell somebody. He called me. He got my number off the line because somebody doxed it years ago and called me to tell me about this. Not share Summer Wells information or research, but to tell me about this. This is the thing. He didn't know I was recording him. He did then, and he remembers now. This was just in passing. He wanted me to, it was absolutely pertinent that he knew that I knew. He needed to get this off his chest. And guess what? Some kind of way, he felt like I was a viable concealer, that I was going to assist him in concealing this, which I did not. I went straight to the police, baby. You hear me?
But see, you see how society does that, where we can, where we can, society, what it does to us as men, Don, is when you hear about your 14-year-old stepson getting his by the older neighbor lady, for men, it's like, high five, son.
Fellatio. She performed fellatio on him while he was there putting, I don't know, something in the attic. Who knows what it was? No, lurking. Tonight he does have tape over his mouth.
Imagine if your stepdaughter had come home and said, hey, you see the hot neighbor? Now there's a fucking big problem, right? You're like, oh. So that's what America does to women or little boys and little girls, right? Where we get caught in this scenario. Now, let me ask you a question. Did it ever come to light that the hot neighbor?
Yes.
Okay.
But not to the police. Only interfamily. Now, Don, even if you let it go 1 day without telling the appropriate authorities, that's 24 hours too long. This fool let it go until he had a fight with his wife and he used his stepson's sexual assault as ammunition against his wife. Neither one of them reported it. I talked to the police in Sevierville, Tennessee. They had never been made aware of any of this.
Did she get charged for it?
No.
Okay.
Now, what happened was me and my wife got into a big argument one day because she has a tendency to.
This dude concealed a sexual assault.
believe other people over
His
me.
son
I
got
don't know
sexually
why.
assaulted by the
I
neighbor
must
lady,
be the
and he
stupid
concealed it.
husband.
He never said anything.
Anyway, and I flipped out and went off.
He knew about his
and
son
I
being
pretty
sexually
much told
assaulted
her
and didn't say shit. Listen,
that, golly, I pretty much told her like it was. I said, I told her, you know, what bothered me the most was that the time I told her that her son and Teresa done what they done, and she didn't believe me. She thought I was lying. I said that.
What kind of piece of shit, pardon my French, because you know I don't go off like that no more. What kind of piece of shit do you got to be for you to tell your wife something like that and her to not believe you? What kind of piece of shit are you? I guarantee you, if I tell, theoretically, all of us in this room right now could run to our significant other, hopefully, as soon as we find out and say, hey, babe, this is what little Johnny just told me about, you know, Cindy, the neighbor. Not wait until after the sister or the daughter scratches your back. It's past that. It's until you and your wife have a major blow up. Now, all of a sudden, there's a major blow up, and you want to use that as ammunition in the blow up. Okay, Don, if you say so.
I said, you're my wife. I said, you're my partner in life. That bothered me. I was like, why would I?
It bothered him that she didn't believe him, not that it had actually happened to him. That's not what bothered him at all. It didn't bother him. He's completely cool with it because guess what? If he had his chance at the hot neighbor, well, he's going to run the ball to the end zone. You hear me?
I told her, I said, why not make shit up like that?
But he's online.
Why?
Trying to get
I said, I mean, if someone makes something up that sick,
Never mind making it up. That would be sick. But it wouldn't be nearly as sick if it had actually happened and you concealed it from her until you wanted to use it as a hollow point bullet during an argument.
wrong with them. And why? And I said, you're not with me because I'm a sick-minded person. I said, you know I wouldn't make that shit up.
No, you are sick-minded. You concealed it, and then you let the woman who performed the act on your son, her daughter, to scratch on your back, knowing how highly inappropriate that was. I don't care if it's your niece, blood related to you. You still don't let a little girl scratch up under your shirt while you're looking at the mother like, stop her. I dare you, because if you stop her, I'm going to tell all about what you did to my son, my stepson. Fair enough, Don.
And I said, it bothers me to know that you don't believe me. That's, I got out of the car. And I had to go for a walk. I was out in the middle of Pigeon Forge. I just got out and just started walking. And
yeah, no, she didn't believe him. So he's going to take his little baby legs on a walk, right? But you ain't never going to hear him say he tried to call the police. Thank you, Callie. Why is that? Does the neighbor have something on you? Hey, what's up, white boy? Don B is a real creep. He is a real, and it revolves around sex and the death of kids, right?
And I mean, it just the lack of trust that she had in me so pissed me off. You know,
absolutely. You know, I let me ask you a question. This is just a personal question. If it had been your daughter that came home and told you that she saw, do you think that you and your wife would have sought criminal charges? And I only ask that because what happens in a family dynamic?
Of course he would. Not a little boy, though. his son for the birthday and neighbor. Okay, Matt. So not sure about a birthday, but his son goes over and helps the neighbor move some stuff into her attic. While he's there, she performs fellatio on him. It's a 40-some-year-old woman and a minor. He's 15 or so at the time. Son comes home, tells Don. And Don's like, even though the boys, I can only imagine, this is first experience, and it's with an older woman, a woman old enough to be his mom. Let's put it that way, right? And Don conceals this from his wife. Then there's a movie night where the daughter of the offending woman come to Don and them's house. They have a movie night. While they're having a movie night, the daughter of the offending woman is scratching up Don's back underneath his shirt. And he doesn't stop her because he knows about the secret between his stepson and the neighbor lady, the assault. But guess what? Again, in America, little boys can't be assaulted if it's with the neighbor's ladies. That's not assault. That's a premium first introduction into what sexual activity should be about. Oh, okay, Matt. Yeah, he is a sicko. An absolute sicko.
Dynamic is that once it's exposed, that now you have a situation where maybe your son at some point felt victimized, but he's like, nobody.
Well, this is the thing. If he lives in a house where he knows there's a boundary like that, he comes home feeling victimized. I'm not here to tell you the little boy didn't feel victimized. It's that Don told him, oh man, she's hot. She's hot. Don't feel bad about it, buddy. In fact, go ask her tomorrow if she has some more stuff that she needs help putting in the attic. Get it as much as you can. Because that's what Don would do.
Nobody tried to help me. Why are you helping her, but you didn't help me? Right? So
Yeah.
that's where we get into Jesus.
And he agrees that if his stepdaughter or daughter would have went over there to the neighbor guy's house and had performed, and that he had performed an act on her or she had performed an act on him, oh yeah, let's get the police involved, right? There you go, Justin. Yeah, that's a problem now if it's the girl, right? Let's protect her innocence, but not the little boy. Because little boys in America, they don't deserve to have their innocence protected unless it is a little girl, or a little boy that is offended against by a man. Now it's an issue. But if it's a woman offending against the little boy, no problemo. No problem whatsoever. He did film the neighbor's kid, yeah.
Land, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what's good for one child has to be good for all the children, right? Because like my son, if he were to come home at 12 or 13, 14, say I don't care if it's by Christy Brinkley, I'm going to go over there and snatch some teeth out of somebody's mouth and somebody's going to jail. Same thing for my daughter, right? So
Yeah.
that's the world we live in where these nuances, they hold the focus, right? Like, we look at situations in Appalachia where parents will sign consents to allow their younger minor daughters to marry 20, 30-year-old men that have houses and good jobs already. They don't have to struggle. And the only person that looks bad upon is the family that signed the consent. They're not mad at the 30-year-old man that wants the little girl, right? Like this country we live in, bro, is that flawed, right? Let me tell you this, Don. We teach our kids the whole time they're growing up, right? We teach them stranger danger, right? Stranger danger. Well, we know that only an average of 350 kids per year are taken by somebody they don't know. The other 28,000 are taken by their own family members. So what are we actually teaching our children? You can't tell your child in school, hey, there is stranger danger, but it's going to look just like your stepdad or just like your mom, or we're lying to our children. Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, stranger danger.
Setting this parameter and this boundary only tells you one thing. Don would also conceal if his son did something to another child. Why would it be any different? Explain to me how it could be any different. In fact, I understand, I don't agree, but I understand using his logic why he might conceal if his son had done something to a different child. I get that part. Like, I get it, right? There's a lot of things, the integrity of your family, your parenting abilities, maybe you love your stepson so much, you want to keep it concealed. You don't want him to go to prison, right? Not excuses, but explanations. So you're keeping a secret for a sex offender, Don. You're keeping a secret. You kept the secret of a sex offender. Now, let's imagine it's a snaggled tooth old 80-year-old woman. Oh, you're going to have a problem with that. But because it's someone you find attractive, now all of a sudden it ain't a problem no more. Nobody didn't see nothing. Don would conceal. Guess what? That's why he's not qualified to be handling this information online. Because I think Don, I don't think, I know, he'd conceal a situation with his own child. He would conceal information about Summer Wells if it just so happened to fall in his lap on top of his baby legs that swing in the chair like this when he sits at it at work. He would do that. He would conceal, cover up. He would do all of the C's. Right, Cheryl? Or his son now knows I can do anything, and Daddy Don is going to keep my secret. Right? He's just a little guy, right? I don't know, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Right? Bigger around than he is tall. You hear me? Thank you, Kaz. Justin says, this woman did it to a 15-year-old, and this her first time doing this, in my opinion, at 40 some years old. Or it's not a fetish. She has a thing for little boys. One of the two. And I respect your opinion, Justin. Completely respect your opinion. Or it could be, the latter.
Danger. Like, what are we doing to our children? Seriously, right?
Yeah.
So, I've got to run some Tylenol. My son is cutting a molar. I've got to run some Tylenol over to the babysitters and drop it off. Can I give you a call back in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'm just in here. I'll probably go in here and see if Sherry answers me, and I'll probably chit chat her a little bit if she's available.
Okay, cool.
So, hey, buddy, it's good. I feel a lot better.
Me too.
Oh, no, yeah, Justin, this is not her first time. Yeah, no. She felt, I'm not even sure that this is the first time with his stepson. Like, who could know, right? Only Don and his stepson know. But guess what? The toxic, fractured minds on the internet, they're gonna run over there. Benny Keys is such a bad guy for telling the truth about you concealing and covering up the sexual assault of your son. In fact, we know the way the internet works. He may gain subscribers because Big Bad Benny is bringing the truth back. That's what will happen. You can't make it make sense. But this is one of those situations where I lead with my heart and say, even if one person walks away or one person says, well, no, that's not right, or one person now advocates for a child they think or know has been in a situation like this. This is the rule of one now. Thank you, Justin, so much for your contribution, King. It means the world to me. He says, I meant it isn't her first time. Someone doesn't just start that at 40 years old. I agree. But guess what? I can understand how someone could just start that at 40 years old, right? So I'm open to that being either way. But now I know what your stance is on, or what your stance is on it. He's the least capable person to be qualified to do any of this. This is Don's qualification and his disqualifier all at the same time. Exactly, Kelly.
Don, because I know I can tell people.
What's sick is you're going to hear it. He thinks he's found a friend in me, that I am a friend indeed. That's what he thinks he just found. Big Bad Benny, he's the bad guy, right? Oh, Don just, pray for him, for he knows not what he does, right? This man pays bills, taxes, has a job, car note. This man owns a boat. Yeah, another realm. That's what we'll call it. But I think we all know life whipping up on this dude as we speak. You hear me? Because guess what? If I was making videos about illegal cremations, I was making videos about suggesting this little beautiful girl that we all been wanting answers for, making videos about pig farms and all the wild, decrepit things he can think up in his deviant mind, don't you know my girl will step right in and be like, man, don't do that. Do not do that. First of all, the first thing is, look what kind of light you're portraying this little girl's existence is. Secondly, you are just advertising to the world that those kind of thoughts go through your mind. Justin, I may have back then, because there was a whole conversation that happened before I had the availability of another device to record it on. What I had to do was try to walk him back through as much of it, essentially tell me the story twice, because he's telling me the story. I'm there by myself. A neighbor had to come over. He just happened to come over. He gave me his phone, and I start recording it on the neighbor's phone because I had no other way to record it. So there is a lot of detail that I know that I said when it was fresh that I don't remember now that he told me. No, Kaz, you know what? I want to believe that he would. I want to believe that this man would go on a Ed Gain spree. He would just go on a spree if something happened to a little girl that's related to him in some way. A niece, a second cousin, a stepdaughter, a biological daughter. I want to believe that. But this behavior tells you absolutely the opposite. Yes, Justin. In the very beginning, he said that the little girl was rubbing and scratching on his back. Mm-hmm. And I can remember he told me what isn't displayed in this soundbite. It's actually a video, but I covered it up because it's from 4 years ago, and I'm smoking weed while I'm doing it. Right? Not a good look. Right? But he did say a lot of things about the interaction with the girl in the part that wasn't recorded. And I just tried to walk him back through it as best I could. Yes. Yeah, Justin, she was definitely rubbing his back. Mm-hmm.
They don't have Jesus in their heart. They don't talk about having Jesus in their heart. They don't lie about that. They lie about other shit. So when I hear a man talking about Jesus, I know it's in there somewhere. And he's automatically a brother of mine. So my number, lock me in, dude. You can call me anytime.
Had to lock him in. You hear me? A little girl, yeah. I don't know how old. If she's under 18, she's a little girl. I think we can all agree on that, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Let's stay in touch, dude. Like real touch, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm open. Dude, that'd be so cool. Like years down the road. maybe not even that long before you need to like a live together on a bass boat somewhere.
Do it live together on a bass boat, buddy, because we have a sexual assault. We're both concealing between us. Yeah, we're like stepbrothers now. Looking ass. That's what we are. It's exactly what we are. Kaz, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me, baby. Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another realm, I knew that I had to keep it civil in order to even get this so that I could be the one to now. I said, I'm just an activist. I had to advocate for the little boy and the police, to the police. Yep. They have the soundbite. Clearly, they fell into the stigma as well, or they went over there and investigated it, and all the adults lied. It was reported that same day, the very same day it was reported. Don't think I waited until we had a movie night to report this. Yeah. He did that. Then I triggered him on a live stream one night and he threatened to kill me. Your legs swing in the chair while you're at work, Don. You're not killing nobody. You hear me? Even the fish you catch, letting you catch them. You are not an apex predator other than this kind of predator. You ain't hurting nobody in life, homie. Not physically.
That would be, dude, I'm a hell of a fisherman too, bro. I'll tell you what. I'm a hell of, I like to fish. Me and my pops used to fish Detroit for the walleye when they run.
Well, that's it. Just for Justin's information here.
And then about 10 minutes later, she makes a statement. She goes, "Oh, he would quit." And
somebody had to tell Don to pull his shirt down and tell him to quit because of how inappropriate it was. He didn't say, "Whoa, little girl, get your hands off me. The hell's wrong with you?" No, another adult in the house had to tell him. Now, he speaks about this argument, and I'm almost willing to stretch it to say, one could wonder that the major explosive argument him and his wife had probably had something to do with him being inappropriate with the neighbor girl who's a minor.
that bothered me.
Right.
It bothered him that somebody was bothered that a little girl was scratching on his back. You get the point. So, this is very interesting here too. Yeah, Kaz. He was looking for a partner in crime to help him conceal. He wanted me to know how cool he thought it was that his neighbor, and he said in the portion that's not recorded, she's hot. She's smoking hot. That's what he said. I mean, that's how I know that his son was over there in the attic. There was a whole conversation. And I'm like, God, I don't have any way to record this. I had one phone. And the neighbor, thank God for the neighbor.
Wow, what a day yesterday. I've got a lot to tell you guys.
He got a lot to tell us, but not the police when it concerns his own children. How the hell can you be qualified to convince the world you are qualified to help with anything on the internet with someone else's child? You can't even protect your children, homie.
Let me tell you what I thought about this cat right here, right?
You know,
Put a pause on it.
yeah, he is deceased.
TM, aced the test. Aced it.
Let me tell you what I think about this guy right here. The first time I saw him, right, he had started a channel for Summer Wells, and all he did was trash the family. So then I started watching him, and
Another realm, as you should be. Yeah. No, you'll go through a whole range of emotion. Very rarely Have you ever seen a endangered animal in their native environment strolling around? Right there. You get to actually observe an animal in its natural environment concealing sexual assault of their own child. It's not like you know about something going on down the street, or you heard a rumor, you're like, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with me. No, this happened in your own house. This is a child that sleeps in your own house and that would ever come to you for fatherly, manly, testosterone-filled advice. You can't give it. You hear me? You cannot give it.
I tried to keep an open mind, but it was really difficult. Then my brain started to go into overdrive, and I realized that this fool could possibly be an actual culprit, right?
It ain't just us.
I mean, who starts a channel and has 10,000 subscribers like overnight? And I'm talking like not even, he's got like maybe 5 videos out, maybe 10, maybe even 30, but that's beside the point. This guy is a fucking weirdo. So let's watch him. Let's see what he's got to say.
Let me go ahead, because I have decided right now I'm not going to go too much further than this. But I want to move me over in the screen. So as you can see what is entailed in this playlist. Let me remove this. Look at the names of some of these videos. There's one of white boys recording strange video of neighbors. Yep. Chasing innocent women around, cracks under karma, law enforcement not helping with Don B, false tips. If you think you're interested in taking a look, which I wouldn't, let me just say this. I wouldn't tell any of you to waste any of your God-given time on earth. Let me do it for you here tonight. But if you want to see how creepy the dude is, there's the playlist right there. So, Justin, thank you so much for your contribution, King. You know it means the world to me, baby. Justin says, so proud of you. The job you've done is so rewarding. I worked in the same industry 10 years. Life is short. It is. I have a completely different sense of time. Like, I think that, sometimes in my finite mind, I'm like, I'm looking at the clock tick while I'm at work, and I'm like, yeah, no, the clock the clock is not ticking the same for me as everyone else in the world, right? It's like those weird ideas you get, like, when other people look at the color purple, do they see it just like I do? Like, no, yeah, you're okay in believing that people don't see things the way you see it. Like, Justin knows. He was in the same field out. Look here, in your first month of working in the field, him and I have worked, and I work in, you're gonna see the ugliest side of life. But at the same time, you're gonna see the most peaceful side of life. You're gonna see. You know what? I don't want to tell you what I've seen. I can tell you, 6 weeks ago, I picked up a young man that was murdered by a 16-year-old. This 16-year-old is now in our county jail facing capital murder. I picked his victim up off the sidewalk, right? Accidents, this and that and the others. Like, now it's really real, right? That's why I have like I don't have a lot of empathy for people's bullshit. When it comes to people and their bullshit, I have very little empathy, right? Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, and then when you see procedures that are done, the embalming, like Justin knows, like, come on, man, it puts a lot of things in perspective for you, right? I'm not going to go all into, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to a breakfast luncheon vigil for an officer Candoza, who was killed here last year. I think this is the year anniversary. He's a Terror police officer. Did a traffic stop. Suspect shot him right in the face. Drove off. They got the suspect. He's in jail. I think he's facing capital murder. But I'm going to go to the breakfast and just be a part of all of that, right? Rhonda, it is. I can't even explain to you, right? Like, you also understand you're going to get in touch with your spirituality real quick. You understand that all of this is just a vessel carrying. This is the carton that holds the eggs, right? The eggs are the important part, not the carton, right?
Because he gives me the creeps, and I'm never wrong. Dude.
And I want everybody.
Come on.
I'm sure you're aware of this by now, but if not, they did try and get everybody out of the campsite.
Yes.
Joker.
Where they were-
Joker, I love you.
Can't hear it. And she lets me.
You find out something new about yourself every encounter. Every encounter you are forced by your want to give dignity to someone else. You are forced to press your own limitations and boundaries, and and then at the end of the day, you get that feeling of fulfillment for having helped and just maybe giving someone a hug or giving someone a handshake, or the way they might see you handle their loved one. And they're just like, you're just handling them with dignity. You know what I'm saying? And this is, all of this is just like, this is the filler in the fluff that we use to entertain ourselves sometimes, right? Yeah.
I'm deceased. So,
Shut up. Let me tell you why I think he's a creep, okay? Because my gut is never wrong, and I see them as I fucking, I call them as I see them.
keep them in your prayers. It'd be great. Hopefully we find Brian and
Okay, he's not saying much. Let me hear it. Let's see what the fuck he's saying.
I am a YouTuber.
Shit.
And
Come on.
.gov or something. I think it had the word tips in it. This one is TN missing at tn.gov, so it's a totally different email address. So I don't know who this is going to go to up there. That's not the point. That's not why I'm saying that I'm not going to email it to him. And I know that.
Let me tell you why I'm suspicious of this guy. It just came out that he's got a brother who's a cop, and they found a child in that man's shed, and the guy's trying to say that kid appeared out of nowhere and he doesn't know anything about it. How do you lock a kid in a shed on your property? How do you find a kid in a shed on your property and you're a cop and this is your brother right here? Let me know, because I'm very curious.
Me too. Me too. Anyways, the human affect, even though I find this despicable, and it's still like this thing that should follow Don around on the internet, right? This right here should follow him around. Clearly, by the nature of the way he's still handling his business here, this isn't progressing uphill for him. This isn't, listen to me, when it progresses uphill, it's a fight to remain on the light side. When it declines, there's no effort in going downhill. You're coasting. You're spending no fuel or effort to go downhill. And that's what this is. It's continued to go downhill. Yeah. Now, guess what? I don't know if it is his brother or what related to him or not. He wants you to think it is, though. I don't know. It's so hard, right? This internet is, it's so fractured, right? You have fractured people. I'm not saying I'm not fractured, right? we're all broken in some way. We've either broken ourselves or someone else has broken us, and that if we are, if we're invigorated with the resilience and the human spirit, every day we working at trying to put ourselves back together. This guy is here because he has now some personal vendetta between Don and himself, Don Wells and him and Candace, right? Imagine hating someone you don't know so badly, right? Hating them so badly that you making videos every day. Summer that she's been found. Summer that pig farms. Summer this, summer that. Right? I mean, oh wow, Summer Wells could have been given away. Oh, but let's celebrate my video, or my birthday rather. Let's go down through here really quick. Don, I think it's pretty clear. Like, they don't like you as an individual. They just like your salacious content, right? I guarantee you, I put a video of my vacation. People are gonna watch it. They're not watching it, right? A grim reminder, right? Let's see. I never knew who Charlie Kirk was. What rock in Sevierville, Tennessee, you been living under, homie? Even I knew who Charlie Kirk was. There's the illegal cremation. Bad feeling after listening to Don. Let's see. I think you get the point, right? I'm pretty sure, in fact, we all get the point. This dude is just present enough in real life. Like, I truly believe that this dude, right? That this dude is one of the people that I've spoken about, and that TM and I have had conversations about. He's one of the people on YouTube that makes videos. He wants to find a little kid in a trash can somewhere, or balled up out in the woods, or whatever. Like, he's not going to be happy until he sees something like that. And let me tell you what, Don, you don't want to see that. You think right now you do. Oh no, that's not how it works at all. At all. You have to have consent from a next of kin, even to be embalmed, but let alone cremated, right? Like, there is a whole list in identifying. Has to be, we do like a triple, right? You're going to have, especially on a pickup from somewhere that's not a residence, they're going to have the band from the hospital or from the ME. Then we're going to get them back. We're going to fingerprint them. They're going to get another band from us on the leg where the other band is. And then we put a festival band, right? The paper bands that says ink, which also you can look down, see the blue band. You already know they've been fingerprinted. Sometimes I'll do a digital fingerprinting with a fingerprint scanner and a paper and ink. So it's there is no question. Only some idiot out there would have anything to say about an illegal cremation. Now, I can tell you this, occasionally in the world, someone can be buried in the wrong plot. And then you got to make a hard decision of whether you move them or you try, you know what I mean? Like, if they're supposed to be next to their loved one, are you moving them back to where they need to go? Right. So, yeah, accidents can happen, but you're not going to illegally cremate someone. Right. It's just, you have to understand the level of cover up. It would be like a Tupac level cover up. right? You would have to have so many people involved in there being an illegal cremation. Quite naturally, there was no illegal cremation. Anyways, you've got audits, yearly audits, where the state is going to come in and they're going to check remains, to physical bodies, to death certificates, to deeds on plots, burial plots. Like it's triple checked and quadruple checked. And no, it is not going to happen. If you cremate your dog, you can't illegally cremate a dog. Anyways, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I can't with this dude. I just can't. Yep. Anyways, it does happen, Justin. It happens occasionally. Anyways, and that's usually a gravedigger's issue. And not anything we do on our end. That's the gravedigger putting them in the wrong spot. That's it, Justin. Like there's just so much, like my folks, they still into the NCIS, on the TV. Nowadays, when I see anything on the TV that is somebody laying on a table, I'm like, yeah, no, that ain't what it looks like at all. Right? Like I'm now all of a sudden I'm some sort of expert on death, right? Like, no, it doesn't look like that at all. No, that's not it. So Tropicana. Nowadays, the crematorium, the cremorts, they're run by computer. So there's a digital log, right? There's a digital log. There's going to be an energy log. There's just, and I think it's pretty much all regulated that way. I've been to 2 crematoriums where one was more manual, like you had to actually go and program the machine. And then there's another one that I visited that is all run, like someone can remotely fire the machine. So it doesn't fire on accident. There are no mistakes. People are not done in communal cremations. It's a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, right? Even a lot of crematories will have a machine that has a viewing window for those people that have misconceptions, or people of certain spiritual faiths where they want to watch. There's a lot of, it's a whole thing. Yeah. Oh God. Hey, it takes all types out here. You hear me, babe? It takes all types. It takes all types. Yeah, there's roughly a ratio, of it's a mass, height mass, all of that stuff that has to do with what you receive back. But each person's different. You've got bone density, the tissue, muscles, all of that stuff goes away. Anyways, I'm going way too deep into it. Anyways, so what it is, take it or leave it for what it's worth. This is not me telling a story he told me. This is you hearing him tell his story, right? You go on from now and you travel through life just knowing this is that guy. I've been knowing this is that guy for 4 years. That being said, any of you that remember him threatening my life, he threatened my life after he told me this story. So he's also terroristically threatened me. And I guess you might say the motive is because I told the truth about him concealing and covering up an SA of his own child, let alone someone else's. And then the weird stuff with the scratching on the back, like, make it make sense. You cannot make it make sense. So it's a science, absolutely. Anyways, we've been here for an hour and 19 minutes. Let's go through. I saw that there was some new members before we started. Cindy Lou, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Fancy Glam, thank you for becoming a new member. Tropicana, thank you for becoming a new member. Carrie, Quadruple Threes, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Nicolina, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. Justin, for becoming a new member. Thank you, thank you. Justin with the super chat. Angela P, I didn't see it. Thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me. Justin again. Thank you, Justin. You're far too kind, my friend. All of you. The overwhelming support every stream, right? And I'll be honest with you. I'm fighting right now. I'm literally fighting. And let me tell you why. I'm fighting to stay here. I'm fighting the bad actors. I'm fighting the Ziggies, the Freds. And I'll tell you who is. I have a few therapists, right? Justin is one of my therapists because he covers a wide array of different cases. White Boy is one of my true crime therapists because he says most of the time what I wished I could say. Right? Six Up Media is a therapist of mine because after being threatened with going real life, after all the numerous attempts to go real life on me, she's holding Ziggy accountable. Tragedy Pimps Exposed is a therapist of mine. Killer Looks is definitely a therapist of mine. And there's a few more, right? There is a few more. And I don't, forgive me for, I'm just absolutely stupefied at this point with all of the things, all of the things. Anyways, I love all of y'all individually. You've been a member. Oh, okay. See, I ain't even here enough to know. I just appreciate all of it. It truly is like Six Up, I can't tell you how irritated I was when Ziggy wished a relapse on me or said that I'm using drugs because my mom's out of town and then threatened to call my probation officer. Like that irritated me as much as I've been irritated in the past year and a half. I've not been that level of irritated. And so now there is a particular level of gratitude that I get from and give to Six Up and Tragedy Pimps and the like for holding Ziggy to the line. These ladies are not. Can you guys put Tragedy Pimps and let me see. I need Tragedy Pimps. Can I get Six Up Media's link? Can I get White Boy's link? Can I get Justin's link? Let me get those 4 links, please, in the chat. I don't know. It's like I watch them and I can just kind of float off. Like I fall asleep listening to Six Up all the time. Not in a bad way. I'm just like, yeah, I'm calm, right? This is like pushing the fires down. And I can just go. I can in some kind of way, I retain it while I'm asleep. Anyways, I am so appreciative of everybody coming around. Hey, thank you, Miss Persevere. Yeah, thank you, Six Up. Anyways, it is what it is. Do I think that this is going to make a mountain out of a molehill or that this is a mustard seed? No. There's too many fractured minds here. It's too many people that are bought in, and for the price of their own conviction, they'll never even tell him they were over here watching this. They will never come over here and say, hey, Don, can you tell us about this? No one will. And that's okay. This is, thank you, Ms. Six Up. This is one of those rule of one. If hearing this I don't care how many subscribers he gains or loses because of this. It's if one person takes this and uses this as a fulcrum in their own private life to advocate or be an activist for one child, my job here is done. That's it. Anyways, I love all of y'all individually. Thank you for joining us, Miss Persevere. What did TBE say? Let me see here. She needs to stop going real life. Yeah. And they're terrible acts of real life. Nothing ever sticks, right? Because there is nothing. She creates these thunderdomes of issues that she thinks that she can superimpose upon the internet to make someone look guilty for something they have not done, right? For instance, she called the police, Detective Sanders from the Plano Police. She calls the police on me, says that I'm carrying marijuana across the line. This was 3.5, 4 years ago. 6 Up has it, right? And then in all actuality, what I find out yesterday from 6 Up is that Ziggy actually, with her daughter in the car, carried marijuana and her daughter to Fred Hill's place where she was scared. And ultimately, in my opinion, prove me wrong. In the words of Charlie Kirk, prove me wrong. I believe she bought their first interaction. I believe she bought his confidence in his interview with marijuana. Ziggy gave Fred Hill marijuana while she had her daughter in the car, and she actually carried it across state lines. Yep. Rest in peace, Charlie. Anyways, thank you to all the new members. Thank you to all the contributors. You know I love all of y'all individually. Kaz, thank you for your contribution. You know I love you, baby. Anyways, with that being said, stay tuned, because I'll tell you what, I find, I find that at this point, it seems as if my job has morphed. People are going to say, oh, look, it's the old Benny. This is not the old Benny. This is the new improved version. If you don't like it, go find something else to watch. But I'll tell you this, because there's no real movement, no real facts coming out, I find that the duty now is to just call out the bad actors that haven't changed, right? If Don B was showing all kinds of new growth in his life, I'll be the first one to pat him on the back and say, man, you're doing the right thing, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going. Go all the way up, sir. I have no problem with giving somebody their flowers, right? I'm not running around the internet nitpicking. No, it's the constant bad actors. Did I used to be a bad actor? Yeah. Could I still, at this point, in someone's eyes, in their trigger internet fingers, say that I'm a bad guy? They're saying it. Am I? That's up to you to decide. I know what I am. Anyways, I love all of y'all individually. Kelly K, I don't know if I mentioned you before, but if I didn't, thank you for becoming a new member. Oh, Casey K, thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know, it means the world to me. She said, we need you here. You're a breath of fresh air for a lot of us, but you know, I support you on and off of here because you, my friend, love you. Love you too, baby. I'm fighting to stay. And it is these creators that I mentioned before that keep me in the fight. They keep me in the fight. Anyways, if they keep me in the fight, they keep you in the fight too. I love all of y'all individually. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Don, if you knew better, you do better. Have a blessed night.